welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. This is Pastor Scott. With me are Pastor Ara.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Pastor Jose.
Hello.
And Demetrius Nathan.
How are you guys doing?
And we have gathered together this week leading up to Thanksgiving to kind of do a little bit of a revisit of the last time at least the four of us got together in this room to do a reflection on 4th of July. I thought it'd be fun to do a reflection on Thanksgiving, particularly because, number one, Thanksgiving is a kind of a uniquely American holiday. And secondly, it's also, I think, celebrated really differently. And so I wanted to talk about, just share a little bit of our differences in our experiences of Thanksgiving, and then maybe transition just to talking a little bit about some of the things we're uniquely thankful for this year, because there is, as we talked about in the sermon last Sunday, there's just a lot that God is doing in our midst and a lot to be thankful for, and just raising our hearts and our minds up to that is just really important. And so, but to start, like I said, I want to share a little bit about Thanksgiving because and how we celebrate Thanksgiving. Now, I know it's a weird year, so I'm not even, you know what I'm doing? I'm not even going to ask you guys what you're doing for Thanksgiving. That way, nobody can judge anybody. We don't have to worry about it. So the question is not, what are you doing for Thanksgiving this year? The question is, historically, how has your family celebrated Thanksgiving? I mean, Jose, you've been in the United States, obviously, for a long time, but you didn't grow up in Guatemala celebrating Thanksgiving, did you?
No, we didn't. Actually, if you were going to ask the previous question, I was going to tell you that I was going to invite myself to Demetrius' house for Thanksgiving.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I was just waiting to see who had the best food, and I was going to invite myself over.
That's a good
without my kids, just me.
Demetrius.
Demetrius. All right. We already know.
We'll see. Ara does barbecue. Yeah, he does.
He barbecues kebab no matter the holiday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
What do you do for Christmas?
Not,
kebab. What do you do for Thanksgiving? Kebab.
Thanksgiving is not my favorite.
It's not your favorite.
Not my favorite because I don't like turkey.
Okay.
So I don't like that bird. I don't know. Don't forgive me. I don't know that bird.
Do you like other birds?
Even I don't like the look of the turkey. I get nervous when I see turkey. It's completely is not my favorite holiday, especially when in a dinner. So every time if somebody invite me before in his story, can you have a kebab? Persian kebab, I can eat that, but not the turkey. So I don't like turkey.
Does anybody make turkey kebab? Is that a thing?
Actually, we are not much turkey eater in Iran. We mostly so we had turkey, but especially in a special breakfast, morning breakfast, they make kind of called halim with the turkey, but not many people when I see everybody is having even turkey ham or turkey sandwich, I said, what's that? So I'm not if you want to invite me next year's for turkey or for Thanksgiving dinner, I will be cheapest guest because I'm not going to eat your turkey.
I'm going to come over to your dinner, but I will not eat your turkey.
Note to self.
Get the ham.
Okay. So. Well, okay, so we're here. We'll get back. We'll get back to you, Jose. So ours is jumping in. He says, "No, I want to answer this question." Because what have your experiences been of American Thanksgiving since being in the United States?
So for me, maybe it's funny. Pastor Matt is not here, so I'm sitting on.
You want to bring the funny?
Yeah. So for me, Thanksgiving is Black Friday. In Thanksgiving, after that, you go jump.
Yeah.
I had this experience with another pastor my first year in America. So we celebrated Thanksgiving, and then we were in the line with all this blanket, and this pastor had this a map of the Target. So, and he put this is the TVs over there. It was LG TV. It was super cheap, and only 50 TV over there. So we celebrate Thanksgiving. I didn't eat the turkey, and they make fun of me, my American friends. And then we jump on the car and go and line up front of Target for 3 hours. and he asked me to run after him to get the TV. So I was running around in Target in Burbank, like I was running because he had the shortcuts, even because they had specific shortcuts, and he put the plan like we call it the smart wise pastor. So he said, follow me, and then I was jumping on the TV, and I see people is jumping. I said, are you kidding me? This is my first experience, like, oh wow, after Thanksgiving is a Black Friday. So I'm more excited about Black Friday. So, but today, like this year, I don't think so.
Okay.
I can jump and run.
No jumping and running and tackling people in stores.
Yeah, I wonder what they're doing in Black Friday.
I don't know. Hopefully
6 feet. I don't. They used to fight, you know.
Oh,
nice.
Okay. So, Jose, then. So Ara, basically, I mean, since then you've. Do you not normally celebrate Thanksgiving then?
But
do you invite it over to American?
In general, yeah. We use like. I'm not eating turkey, but my family eat turkey. I eat turkey, and so we celebrate like a family. For us, is opportunity to meet friends and family together for the dinner, and usually we ask the question from each member of family, like what you're thankful for.
Okay.
And that's very, very good. And this year is unusual.
Yeah.
Which is we are going to miss that, but we are as a family, as a one solo family, we are going to celebrate actually Thanksgiving.
Okay. So Jose, was your first Thanksgiving in the States? Did you go to Black Friday? Is this like a common theme? No,
there were no Black Friday.
I was saying back then. Yeah.
1987.
There's no Black Friday?
No, when I first came.
Wow.
Yeah. And in Guatemala, we don't have Thanksgiving, right? I mean, it's so American. And when they invited me, I remember somebody invited me to go, and I was a foreign student. And they said, what is Thanksgiving? And they said, oh, they explained the whole thing to me and everything. So you want to come? I said, sure. So we went, and there it was, a turkey, big turkey, right? And you see it on the TV, everybody preparing turkeys and ham and everything. And it was nice. I grew up eating turkey, but we eat turkey like that during Christmas. Christmas is our turkey day.
Oh, in Guatemala.
In Guatemala, yeah. So turkey is when we celebrate. So I was thinking, I asked, hey, what do you guys eat for Christmas? And you guys don't eat turkey for Christmas, right?
Well, in my family, we actually did. We did. We would do turkey at Thanksgiving and turkey at Christmas at my grandfather's place. Like the formal turkey was kind of like that was the fancy meal.
Is that something that was from before?
I don't know. I mean, Christmas hams. I feel like Christmas hams is more than
Christmas ham.
Yeah.
Maybe
I did that one year. I went to like a Butterball. Like stood in line at like the Butterball. Actually, over there on Jefferson, there's like a not Butterball. Honey baked. Butterball's the turkey. I'm talking about the honey baked ham, right? Yeah. And we're like, okay, this ham, this honey baked ham. I stood in line for it. And like it was okay. It kind of tasted like turkey. Like it was really not.
With a little bit of honey.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Pastor Scott is Guatemalan. From Guatemala.
I have my suspicions. Yeah. I have my suspicions.
Turkey on Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, so Demetrius, how have you guys historically? Did you have to combine traditions between you and Estella? Like what has Thanksgiving celebrations been like for your families
since being married? Yeah, combined. I'll say they are very traditional when it comes to Thanksgiving in America.
Your parents?
No.
Or Estella's parents?
Estella's family is
very traditional.
Like my family as well, but more we have a Southern style of Thanksgiving. So we have a lot. Like you guys may have something called stuffing. We have something called dressing. Which I would say dressing is a far superior version of stuffing.
Nice.
Macaroni and cheese is huge. And it's usually baked never in a blue and yellow box called Kraft, but it's all made from scratch. We like to have candy yams, collard greens.
That sounds.
Usually using any smoked type of meat. and
so any smoked type of meat,
like any if it's so since it's Thanksgiving, you may use a smoked turkey leg to help season the collard greens, and just sit in there and it falls apart.
Wow, I'm learning about cooking now.
Turkey is somewhat is there, but it's not the main event. There are a lot of other things when it comes to the Southern style of a Thanksgiving. My mouth is watering right now.
Right?
Yes.
So when our families combined, their family quickly picked up on my family's tradition and had me cook a lot of things.
I like that.
Which I enjoy cooking. Like I cook a lot, but I try to blend and even take up what my mom would make for dressing and take it up another notch. And add a little bit of my own flair into it. And I have a very special mac and cheese that Daniel Nightage, if he ever comes over for Thanksgiving, will take at least half the tray home with him and will not share. So, yeah. So
nice.
Yeah. So all the foods, like we'll have turkey, rib, chicken, like the meats go on. He was like, oh, most families just have turkey. So that was interesting. It was like, oh, you just have turkey? Like, that's if you want turkey, but we have this, and this as our protein for Thanksgiving. So that is not how it is now. I try to keep it where it's a nice, streamlined Thanksgiving where we make sure everything is nice and have high quality. But yeah, have fun.
What about Black Friday? You having South on Black Friday?
I never grew up around like observing Black Friday as a big thing. Like it wasn't until I came got in college where I realized a lot of my friends would map out each electronics store that they would go to get stuff and then sell it on eBay back
I was going to say, and buying it for themselves, right? Like what? This is not like a gift buying holiday.
So yes, so it wasn't a gift buying holiday. It was either for themselves or for them to sell.
Or for them to sell on eBay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so, but I have a lot of friends that Black Friday is their highlight of the year. They enjoy the jumping over people, running in stores.
It's a rush.
Yeah, that rush.
There's something about it.
I have never stood in a line after Thanksgiving in my life, Ara. So sorry, I've not experienced the.
I did only one.
Okay,
that was enough.
Okay. That was enough.
So I've done it once too. I did it once too. I didn't stand in. Well, we didn't really stand in line. So right around the corner from my house, for those of you who've lived in West LA at least for a few years, right around from the corner of my house used to be a Toys R Us.
Yes.
Right. I mean, like literally a block and a half away. And so my brothers were over for Thanksgiving one year. This is maybe 5 years ago. My brothers were over. You know, we're all up late, talking, hanging out, playing cards, and all of a sudden we're like, "Oh, it's midnight. Toys R Us is open. Let's go see what it's like." You know, like maybe we'll score a deal. Maybe we'll, you know. And so we're like, okay, so we go over and then the place is packed. And there are boxes and toys and things like strewn everywhere. Like just to walk down the aisle, you have to like step over just this massive stuff. And there's like people everywhere. And I'm like, okay, well, if we're here, like at least I could like find something that I feel like, you know, hey, I got a good deal on, you know. We left without buying anything. I was like,
didn't have the map.
I did it once. I'd never have to do it again. I didn't have the I did not have the map.
Shortcuts.
I did not.
That was the problem.
I did not have the map. I mean, and for us actually, like, so we had a very traditional. We've always had a very traditional Thanksgiving as well, and both in my family and in Laura's family, turkey. We've tried to get away from turkey, although probably for the last decade, things stepped up once we learned how to fry our turkey. And I've only almost blown up our backyard once frying a turkey. Other than that, I mean. A deep fried turkey. A deep fried turkey is a game changer. And actually, it's the only thing that saved turkey. Like turkey was on its last leg in our tradition. We're like ready to kind of do away with it, move on. But the deep frying, like it definitely saved it. That's been huge. We also deep fry pheasants because my brothers pheasant hunt, and the way that the season goes, they usually have a few pheasants, and so you kind of dip those in for like 4 minutes and they're done.
Oh, they're softer.
Yeah. Wow. And they're gamey. Honestly, they're not good. Pheasant's not great. Like you want to talk about it, but you got it. You know, whatever. But I'm trying to think. I mean, sometimes I like a little bit of ham, but it's mainly just turkey and we do stuffing, not dressing, which is interesting because we don't actually stuff the turkey because we're frying it. So you have to do it separately, which is a whole nother. But green beans, sweet potato casserole, the cranberry in the shape of the can, right? You got to have the cranberry. I actually somebody served cranberry relish at one point that was just in a bowl, and I didn't recognize it because it wasn't in the shape of the can. I thought that's just it's part of the tradition,
So that's pumpkin pie also.
Pumpkin pie.
I love pumpkin.
I love pumpkin pie. Laura hates pumpkin pie.
I love it.
How do you hate pumpkin pie? I love pumpkin pie. She thinks it's like baby food, but
yeah,
I'm all for it too.
I grew up with sweet potato pie.
Sweet potato pie.
So sweet potato pie was usually served on Thanksgiving compared to pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie was something that was new.
What about pecan pie?
Ooh. Me particularly did not have a huge pecan pie, but sometimes we will have pecan pies at our Thanksgiving.
Okay.
What about pudding? Pudding?
Pudding?
Yeah.
Like
banana pudding?
Like Jello? Like pudding?
No, banana pudding, rice pudding. I think I was in South in Thanksgiving. It was like Southern style Thanksgiving. There was different pudding.
I could see banana pudding.
I think it was like North Carolina was in Thanksgiving a few years ago.
Yes, I could see banana pudding being there, but rice pudding, I've never connected rice pudding with Thanksgiving. So I think they were teaching you something new there.
All right. We're 15 minutes into talking about food.
Okay.
People are going to be like, why? Again, maybe ask the question. Why do I listen to this?
Intro. If you have sandwich, you can bring it and listen to this podcast.
That's right. But I do think that Thanksgiving is a fascinating opportunity, right, to stop and not just recount what I'm thankful for, but to actually express thanksgiving to God, right? To express our gratitude to a God who's given us infinitely more than we could ever imagine. And I think it's an especially powerful opportunity this year in a season that's been so captivated by lament. I think sometimes we can forget to thank God for the things that he is doing. I would just love to hear, as you reflect back on this last year, even on this last season, we could talk and fill a lot of podcasts with the things that we've been frustrated about, the things that have been discouraging, right? The things that have been hard. But what are some of the things that you have been thanking God for as you reflect on the work that he's been doing in our midst in the church or even in your life?
Something that I've been thinking is, it's been very hard, right? And we all understand the pandemic. We all understand the limitations. But the beautiful thing about God, that even in those dark times, even in these hard days, he's always working. He never stops working, and changing our perspective to see what is the things that God is doing. It's refreshing. I've seen people coming to the knowledge of Christ even in the midst of this pandemic, and or even somebody can say even because of this pandemic. Why we know that the church grows and perseveres during the pandemic. I'm very thankful for that. Also, in my own family, I've seen more opportunities, a lot of opportunities to talk about personal issues that perhaps they were recessed, they were laying low in the back burner of their minds. But the pandemic put enough pressure to bring them out so that we can talk about them. I've seen a lot of changes in my family, my children, in that regard. Just a beautiful thing of God using painful circumstances to work deep things that are hidden in our hearts, and he brings them to the light so we can see them. That perhaps, God can bring them out so many other ways, but in this pandemic, he brings very unique things, and even very unique things about ourselves. I love the church, but I didn't realize how much I miss the church and how much I love the church. I am realizing how essential the church is for the life of the believer. It's becoming more clear to me as a pastor to see that how difficult it is for somebody who who is a believer and not to be living in community.
Mm-hmm.
It's if anything that we all can learn from this pandemic is that it is hard. It is hard not to be connected, and I'm so thankful that Christ died for the church, right? That He gave us this new family, and the function of this family is becoming more evident to me, because now you don't have it. You don't have it at the level that we had it before, right? And it's so easily can be taken for granted. And going back to the sermon, right? To be thankful for the faith, faith and of the people who have believed in Christ, and thankful for their faith. Paul praying in Colossians that they have believed the gospel, and because of the gospel they believe, and because of Christ we have the church. So that becomes, it has more gold to me. It has more value. It's not just a saying that, oh yeah, we go to church, we have the church. No, we need the church. It's needed. It's not a social club. It's not nothing like that. It's about life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes me think of too the ways that I've seen people come alongside one another, and I mean, not perfectly, because I think we're all just trying to navigate this, but there was at no time has there been any chance that anyone in our church community was going to go hungry or, get kicked out of their place.
Praise God.
Like that God just continued to provide, and there's just been an overabundance of willingness to help one another, to step in one another, to know a desire to know about needs and to see them and to meet them together. And I mean, it was just never in question. I think in that way, and in a number of different ways, I've been so encouraged to see the church, even as the church family, demonstrated to be what I think we hoped it was, but didn't quite know for sure, right? Yeah, and you hope that you keep saying it's more than a building. You keep saying it's more than a meeting, but hopefully that's actually true, but when you have a building and you have a meeting each week, there's never an opportunity to test that. And I wasn't desiring an opportunity to test that, but it's demonstrated the resolve and unity and mutual sacrificial love of that community in overwhelming ways. That has been really. That's one of the things I just feel like it's been really encouraging and sweet to see. Ara's nodding at Demetrius.
There's a lot to be thankful for, and I think Pastor Jose hit on a huge thing, is just the importance of the church family. And yeah, this is a season like no other. Realizing the church is not a building, but it's the people. It's the people of God, and seeing how the people of God have come together to support one another. And even in my own life, this season was a lot of highs and lows, but there's a season where I was just going, trying to get things done. And I'm so thankful for the elders and the leadership team here, of just seeing how much I was going and then saying, no, let's create space for you to rest. Let's create space for you to, we want to allow you to have time where you aren't thinking about work and where you are not working. And so, Demetrius, we are graciously giving you this season off to spend time with your wife, to focus on school, to get restored, and just spend it any way you want. And so just for the elders here, just really seeing where I was at, and just saying, no, let's give him a place to where we want to support him and care for him and make sure we care for his spiritual development and care for him as a person. I'm so thankful for that, because oftentimes I know for many people right now in this season, many people in ministry, it is a very challenging time because they're just going head forward and saying, okay, I have to keep on doing church. I have to keep on doing this. I have to keep on ministering. And not having a support group that says, you know what, we care about you as a person. And also being able to pull back the curtains, just see the elders really care for the church as a whole. Being able to sit in some of the elder meetings and just seeing them pray continually for the church, but also for one another. Seeing them come around each other and supporting each other is something I'm really have been blessed. I'm like, man, like this is something I'm so blessed to be a part. I'm so thankful to be a part of a team that really cares about the person, really cares about each individual and where they are with the Lord, but also seeing them as a family member. And that's something that is refreshing, something that is really encouraging to be able to be a part. And so just be like the season has been, as Pastor Jose said, almost it's been a refiner's fire. It has put us in a lot of pressure, and where like in that, seeing with all that pressure, having the support of each other and seeing the church come around, and seeing the elders come around those that are hurting, and even the elders coming around each other has been such a blessing. It's like, man, I'm so thankful to be here at this church for this time in this season. And it really has helped me understand what it means to be a pastor, what it means to love and care for the saints, what it means to love and care for those who are hurting and those who are in need. And yeah, it's just, I'm getting a on-hands learning experience in this season on what it means to really love people in very challenging and difficult times.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's why I was waiting. Like, it's just this testimonies and this, like, I can say I'm very thankful for my elders, Pastor Jose, Demetrius, my brother, and Pastor Scott, other elders. It's just, in my heart, it's just kind of passion. Like, in this season, it's hard. Like, each group of people that in our church, their struggles. Like, Iranian, we have struggles, and that's pressure is sometimes overwhelming, and sometimes coming to react the things that is surprising you sometimes. And where you're talking to elders and okay, now you need to do this, and they're telling you, oh, you need to do this, or you need break, or I understand you. That words is just changing your heart and life in many ways. And the level of communication we have, I'm very thankful that openly we can share our struggles, our problems, are proud sometimes. It's just I'm very thankful for the church, especially like for us as a group here. Part of the church is like the first month we lost a brother because of COVID. It's really hurt us as a church, as a people that they know him. Like usually I say that they're new, because most of them that are coming Iranian, they're new. But when I saw they cries, how they passionate and how they hurt, I said, this is the community, this is church. Like if a part hurt, other part also hurt. And I remember the brother that we lost because of COVID. He was working in Century Mall. Usually I went sometimes to have a lunch with him, and he had this passion for his family all over the world to share the gospel. He said, I never had the opportunity to share the gospel. And I remember in his graveyard memorial, it was a camera, like everything was online, and his mother, father, brothers, family members watching. We're 6 people, and lots of people is parking, and I knew that he has the passion of sharing the gospel, and I was preaching the gospel over there. And thankful for his life that gave me opportunity this year to share behalf of my brother that he is in Jesus. And I saw people was crying in the car and said, oh Lord, thank you. Like, this is like terrible things happen, but I'm thankful that you gave me opportunity to do my brother passion. I'm seeing people crying in the car, seeing this ceremony, and I said, this is the church. I'm very thankful, especially like because in my whole ministry life, because of all persecution and church being illegal in Iran, couldn't have church building, usually I was alone. Usually I was carry everything in my shoulders, and I cry alone. I happy alone. I was celebrating alone. But now I'm very, very thankful. Like usually my wife on it every morning say, are you thankful? Are you praising him every day? We usually pastors just like oh, why he's not growing, why this, why that, and she always remind me, are you thankful? What you have to be praised this today. And I'm very thankful for Cornerstone West LA as a family. Like when I'm seeing this COVID fund that who like supporting other group, other people in our church, family members, they're supporting some of Iranians and helping. It's just as a family come together. It's just melting. Well, how can I say it in English? Like, just my heart is like touching all these numbers, all these gifts is touching my heart, and humbled my heart and said, Lord, thank you that you brought me finally somewhere that I'm not alone. If I want to cry, I can cry with my brothers. If I want to celebrate, I can do with my brothers. If I want to grumble or say something, I can do it with my brothers. So really thank you, brothers, for being in this year, hard year. And I want to say thank you to Cornerstone Church members, believers, family members. We love you, and I love you, and thank you so much for being in our life.
Yeah, praise God. Praise God. And that's where I think we get to see so many different, and I feel a little bit like I feel bad because I think as pastors we get to see sometimes even more of what God's doing in all sorts of different people's lives, than people do, especially if they feel particularly isolated right now, which is why I wanted to share share some of that, because it is overwhelming. I mean, I know multiple marriages in our midst that have been rescued over the last 9 months. That the Lord has transformed over the last 9 months, not destroyed because of COVID, but redeemed COVID by actually using this season and as a season of incredible work. The thing that's what their family is going to remember of this year more than anything, and it's been literally miraculous, and just leaves me in awe of how God is working in so many different people's lives, and how He's been working in mine. You want to talk about like a season of, I think we've all felt this, just how humbling this season is. I mean, in 15 years of pastoral ministry, I have never felt like less equipped as a leader. I feel like I after 15 years of ministry, I feel like you like, at least at some point, you get into some type of grooves, and you're like, situations come up, and you're like, okay, like I don't know exactly what to do, but I've dealt with something like this before, and this is just like, is unlike anything. It's unlike anything in the life of the church, and I've had to deal with that pressure to get it all exactly right, and felt the Lord's immense grace, where He just keeps showing us over and over, like, just take the next step, just try to be faithful the next step. Ask yourself, like, what does it look like to follow me the next step? And I'll guide and I'll lead, and He has, and He will, and He continues to, and it reminds me in such powerful ways that if things get back to some semblance of normal, He's going to continue to do that. He's going to continue to do it in radical ways, and He's going to continue. And you know what? If things were for other unexpected reasons to get incredibly harder or worse, that He's still going to do that. He's going to continue to do that. Like there's just nothing, nothing changes that. And I think this has, to me, just been both incredibly humbling, but also more confidence building than anything I've ever experienced too. Because I don't feel like I've ever been as confident in the Lord's grace, in His leadership, in the wisdom that He gives us each way forward, that we can turn to Him and depend on Him, and even desperately so. And He hears and he answers. So, well, thank you guys so much for sharing even that little bit. I hope our church family will be encouraged and blessed by it. And church family, I'm sure you do. And even just through this imperfect medium of a podcast, I hope you feel how deeply we love you. And we are praying that you have a great Thanksgiving, one that brings great honor to the Lord as you bring your gratitude, your thankfulness to Him, thanking Him for all that He is doing, all that He's done, and all that He has promised to continue to do. And however you're celebrating it, know that with Him you are not alone, and that we are going to be praying for you. Yeah, Jose.
Yeah, I just want to add something to the nature of thankfulness. What does it do to our heart to be thankful? In Romans, of all places, Romans 1:21 says, "For although they knew God, they did not honor Him as God or give thanks to Him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened." And we know the context about this, but it's interesting that it says they did not honor Him as God or give thanks to Him.
I don't know if I've ever heard that before.
Yeah,
that Thanksgiving is in there.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
And that's what it's fascinating. That it's in the midst of the minds that get futile in their thinking and their hearts become darkened. There is, I believe sincerely that the more thankful we are every day, like your wife asked you, have you been thankful today, Ara? I think when we choose to be thankful to God, it orients our heart to honor and to respect and the recognition that there is somebody who is looking after us. In this case, is God. And a grateful heart is cultivating that dependence from God. To say that I'm thankful to God, that I'm grateful to God, which in Spanish is the same word, by the way. Yeah. It's cultivating a posture of humility to recognize that everything comes from Him. And when we are reminded just by thanking Him, we're honoring Him, I believe it does something to our hearts and our minds. We are not allowed to go to those dark places. We're not allowed our mind to be in darkened. It doesn't. The thinking stays sharp in recognition that there is a God. So I just wanted to share that as a reminder that it's not just thankful, like, hey, thank you. No, it's a recognition of God in the very act of being thankful.
That's so good. Thanks so much for that. I think it's a perfect place to wrap us up, and I hope that reminder will be reverberating in you this week as you celebrate Thanksgiving, but maybe even more fundamentally as you take time to both think and then to express that Thanksgiving to God Himself. So thanks so much guys for being with me, and thank you all for listening. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on Sunday.